Hey y'all, this is Marley K. Hope y'all are well. Got a very interesting email today from a four-letter agency that belongs to our government. I will blow it up so you can see it, but I will not say the name because I'm going to be talking about this email today. So, y'all know I get information from everywhere. As much information as I can absorb and keep up with. I get a lot of stuff that I cannot keep up with. I don't open up everything, but there are some things that I constantly monitor. And today, when I opened up my email, I got this email. And it's very interesting. The timing of it, the fact that it's coinciding with um, some readiness activities that are going on across the nation and across the globe. And the fact that we are monitoring the national Sunday law that is going to take effect, that is targeting Christians specifically, and that whole other agenda that is coinciding with the climate agenda. So, I have two things that I want to share with you. So, in this email, let's see, go back to the way it was. All right. So, there's a lot of stuff this month with faith-based partnerships. And it's not that they haven't had a faith-based initiative. If you know anything about a 501c3 and how religious organizations can use that 501c3 tax exempt status to participate in other governmental activities, as well as receive federal funding. And sometimes that federal funding comes from this four-letter agency to support um, disaster preparedness activities at the local levels and emergency preparedness. So there are a lot of faith-based organizations in your community. May not be a lot of Black organizations because a lot of them don't have a 501c3. They just are not. A lot were skeptical, but quite a few do. Big mega churches do. Most of them have the tax exemption because they provide other activities that are outside of the scope of um, their mission. So I found it interesting that they're going to have a disaster recovery lessons learned, perspectives from a federal coordinating officer, and a long-term recovery group. So they're gonna have a couple of these, and they came this month. So this one is interesting because there is a National Preparedness Month, and I don't know if the National Preparedness Month is this month or next month. I'm gonna click and see. It's redirecting me, but it's interesting that they are barely talking about this. It's a National Disaster Preparedness Month, and you don't hear anything about it. So I'm just observing some things. So ready.gov is National Preparedness Month, and they say it's been in observance each September to raise awareness about the importance of preparing for disasters and emergencies. And this became a thing in 2021 after the thing. And so it says in 2021, the Ready campaign and the Ad Council broke ground by producing the first ever national preparedness campaign specifically targeting the Latino community for National Preparedness Month. And then in 2023, they're saying that you should take control over your preparedness. Now, check this out. So it says in 2023, the theme is Take Control 1, 2, 3. The Ready Campaign's 2023 National Preparedness Month theme is Take Control 123. The campaign will focus on preparing older adults for disasters, specifically older adults from communities that are disproportionately impacted by all hazard events, which continue to threaten the nation. Interesting. We know older adults can face greater risk when it comes to a multitude of extreme weather events and emergencies we now face, especially if they are living alone, are low income, have a disability, or live in rural areas. Emergency managers and all those who work with and support older adult communities to access the new webpage available in English and Spanish. And it has ready.gov slash older adults and ready.gov as adultos mayores, which is the Spanish version. So I haven't heard anybody talking about this. I haven't seen any ads or nothing. So the fact that they have this and they're targeting older people is interesting. It's just a very interesting dynamic, especially now. So it says, as an older adult, you may have specific needs after a disaster. So I don't want to go into it too much, but I don't know. This thing that they have with the Direct Express prepaid debit card designed to get your benefits from your Social Security or other, government assistance that you receive. So, one of the things that I find interesting is that they make sure they have a way to get their money conveniently. One way or another, they got to get these people transitioned from the old way of doing things to the new way of doing things. And so don't think these people are not above orchestrating some stuff to corral people into signing up for this mark, the beast infrastructure. So another thing that I found interesting in my email is that they're having these protecting places of worship. So it's an invitation, protecting places of worship weeks of action virtual events. So they have 6 steps to enhance security against targeted violence. So it says the 3-letter organization that is under the 4-letter organization that is responsible for the emergency preparedness for the nation. You got to read between the lines because I'm trying desperately not to mention their names. Is committed to supporting efforts that maintain safe and secure places of worship and related facilities while sustaining an open and welcoming environment. So the cyber protection infrastructure people, I can't say the name because it's so triggering for the algorithms, is in partnership with other lettered agencies that are responsible for disaster relief and emergency preparedness, civil rights and civil liberties divisions, and faith-based programs that will provide resources and opportunities for National Preparedness Month to assist with, it says, a national strategy to counter anti-Semitism. Um, they have yet to come up with something to counter anti-Black sentiments. If I'm not mistaken, many churches have been burned down in this country, Black churches, and many people have been slaughtered in church houses that are Black. But they have yet to come up with an anti-Black strategy, a national strategy to counter anti-Blackness. So, just saying. Then they're having a active shooter preparedness webinar so that you can have an actionable framework to enhance security in places of worship in a manner that sustains an open and welcoming environment in the community to peaceably worship. Again, they're having another one for bomb threats on the 20th. Provides an overview of bomb threat, emergency planning, and instruction regarding how to evaluate and respond to both bomb threats and suspicious items. And then another active shooter um, event. Next day, mass casualty, active shooter impact and recovery seminar. Negotiating mid and long term recovery is for members of private sector interested in enhancing their organizational preparedness for a mass casualty or active shooter incident. And this one is a tabletop exercise package on faith-based situation manuals webinar. Now you can register for all these things online, but you have to go to that four-letter agency that I blew up at the beginning of this video. And so the last one is response to suspicious behaviors and items webinar, which is next week on the 27th. So it says it introduces the faith-based community to recognizing and responding to suspicious behaviors and activities related to terrorist or criminal activities. So I find it extremely interesting, the timing. I find it interesting that they want to do this now, specifically with faith-based organizations. Not that they haven't tried to do stuff in the past, but this is, I just say suspicious. Seeing the times that we're living in, I can't say what I want to say. But anyway, you have to read between the lines. Go to this website and look at this stuff that's there. Look at what's been done before. Look at what's new. Look at who's being targeted and who's not being targeted. Look at who's who's had an entire national history of being slaughtered here, and who has specific designations or specific targeting to prevent them from being ambushed or harmed versus people who haven't and groups who haven't. And let me know in the comments what you find. But I just find it interesting that in a couple of weeks, things are going to be happening. We got Laudato Si coming out 2.0. We got the prospects of a national Sunday law coming out tied to the climate thingy. It's an interesting time, but you got to pay attention to what your governments, local, state, and federal, are doing, because a lot of things are going to be happening. You're not going to know why. You're going to some stuff is going to happen. A lot of things are going to happen. A lot of it will be distractions, and you won't know why they are happening. But I want my people to be aware of what time it is, because before you know it, you could find yourself in a situation where you could be targeted and you not even know any of these things are available to your congregation. And the other thing about it is I would be kind of skeptical, because they may want faith uh, faith-based organizations who are not 501c3s to register, because you don't have to be a 501c3 to participate in any of this. You're grandfathered in under state and federal laws. But the question is, um, why I'm just trying to figure out how to say this. Oh, this is so hard. Okay, so back in the day, they used to come to your communities and do these. Now, it's easy for you to be tracked and traced because you have to do everything. Everything's going to be online. It's digital. So there's a footprint. So there's no anonymity. And also there's a trace back. So they know who's interested. They may know, you know, if they have plans and you're giving them too much of your information or your concerns about your threats, perhaps that may not be wise. So I'm not sharing this for anybody to sign up for anything, because that's the last thing I'm telling you to do. I'm not trying to encourage anybody to go into this system and get anything, but I just want you to pay attention to the data point and notice what they're offering this month. And so with that said, um, there could be some fake Freddies happening in the near future around these scenarios. I'm just saying. It's just my tinfoil hat is on. It stays on. Every now and then I take it off. But right now, I'm feeling a little suspect. So I'm just saying. Pay attention, people. If you're still flocking around up in those places of worship, I reckon you're best to be trying to figure out how you're going to come out of there. Um, those are going to be dangerous places soon, and highly monitored places. So I would really advise you, if you are still attending a house of worship that is Christian, um, understand the times that we're living in. Understand that you will be a threat for one reason or another, and you will need to begin to have church in non-traditional settings and worship in non-traditional ways. Sometimes you may even have to worship silently. But the hour is coming where going to a place of worship is not going to be safe. And you're not going to know who the threat is. Let's say that. There will be many threats, but you will be unable to determine who sent the threat or who truly is the threat, because all threats look like human beings. And we don't know, whether it's just a random person or if it's something else. So, with that said, go to the website and look for yourself and think about the timing. Think about what's been going on and move accordingly. All right, this is Marla Kay.